to Chaotic Night Network. We are totally excited tonight. We've got Jason Hardy going to join us here in about 2 minutes as soon as we get through our crossing the I's and dotting the T's.
Right.
Or switch that around. And we're just too excited. So here we go. So we'll do kind of new news and all of that maybe at the end today. And we'll just kind of kick over.
Depends how much time we have. I mean, we may fill it just talking Shadowrun.
We may not. We may not get there. But
so anybody who's not familiar, actually, real quick, if you're new, just checking us out for the first time, please feel free to follow us on Twitch TV, subscribe to us on YouTube. If you happen to catch this there later, we of course love subscribers on Twitch as well, and we are getting ready to do a big giveaway. So more followers, the better. But anybody who's not familiar with, really quick, who Jason Hardy is. He's the line developer for Shadowrun from Catalyst Games. Shadowrun 6 is getting ready to drop. I think they just dropped the PDFs. The books are coming out soon. And he is here to talk with us live today about the new edition of Shadowrun, of which Danek and I are both really big fans of. We got to talk to Jason for a little bit at Gen Con, which is always a pleasure, but getting him on the show is just a big, exciting thing for us.
Really cool.
Yeah.
So I think without further ado, it's more important that he get on.
All right, I think we're live, Jason. How are you doing?
Pretty good, thanks. How's everything going with you?
Good. We're excited to have you on the show. So thank you again for coming on today. And we of course prepared a couple questions to ask. And I guess the first one would be, so you were the line developer for Shadowrun 6th edition.
Yes.
What does that mean? What does your day-to-day look like?
I wish there was a consistent day. That would be awesome. So basically anything that comes out for Shadowrun, I have to make all the steps that will make it come out happen. So that's making a project spec at the beginning, so I get the outline of the book. Then hiring the freelancers who are going to work on it, reviewing all the text that comes in, making sure all the editing and proofing happens, making art notes so that the art director can get that, making it all pretty for the layout people, and then getting it off to the printers. So every step of the way, I have to do the stuff that needs to happen to make it work.
Awesome. That sounds like a lot of responsibility.
Good job.
It's a fair amount, yeah.
How long have you been doing that?
10 years now.
Wow.
That's all the way back to the beginning?
That's 4th edition?
Okay.
Yeah, I was hired late in 4th edition. I was hired actually at Gen Con 2009.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So yeah, it was late in 4th edition. So I did some of the last books of 4th edition, then developed 5th edition and did all of that. And now we're in 6th.
Okay. Now just for my Shadowrun history here, who was the previous kind of head of Shadowrun before you stepped in there?
Immediately before I came in, they had kind of shared development responsibilities between 3 people. So that was Adam Jury, now Adam Jury last, John Dunn, and Jennifer Harding. Before them had been Peter Taylor. Before them was Rob Boyle, and then a few others before.
Okay. Yeah, I've met Mike Mulvihill a couple of times. He was Shadowrun 3.
Yes, he was the first Shadowrun line developer I ever met.
Okay, cool. Kind of the elevator speech for Shadowrun. If you met somebody new who had never heard of Shadowrun before, how would you explain it to them?
Take every genre that is awesome, combine them, and you have the best game ever. So the 3-word shorthand I use a lot is magic, cyberpunk, noir. So you've got the kind of gritty world of cyberpunk, which already has noir elements in it. And so you amp up the noir and then add fantasy to it. So you cross all these things together, and then you put the main characters as Shadowrunners, people who do the things that no one else wants to do in the world so that they don't have to live under the thumbs of the mega corporations. And they try to maintain their independence and freedom while living in a very difficult environment and building up whatever skills and powers they can to make themselves awesome.
That's pretty good
I want to
stuff.
play. Let's do this. Yeah, get the dice. Let's.
Well, let's start there. Do you play?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got to know how the stuff I'm trying to design works.
How often?
It's been less often this year, just because once all the game was done, it's a lot of time trying to get it done, get the printing done, and so that's taken up more time. Usually, it's been about once a month.
Okay. Are you normally a player or a GM when you play?
Oh, normally GM. It's everyone makes me run the game, which is great. I love running it, but it'd be fun to be a player someday again.
I get it. I've been running a Shadowrun game for the last 6 months, and one of my players just stepped up to run. He had an idea for a run, so I got to step in as a player for a few sessions. It's
now you're a player. They're awesome.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. All right. So for people who already know about Shadowrun now, for our veteran players, what are the big changes in this edition from 5th to 6th?
So if you look at 5th edition was fairly long, possibly in page count the longest edition of Shadowrun ever. And it really was trying to get into the details and the more, I guess, simulationist way of doing a role-playing game. Shadowrun 6 backs that up a little bit to try to get more streamlined, quicker moving, easier to get into. It doesn't go full storytelling. We did that with Shadowrun Anarchy, and we don't get anywhere near as rules light as Anarchy was. But it's about trying to take away some of the complexities of Shadowrun 5, some of the overabundance maybe of modifiers, and build that into a more streamlined system. So Edge takes on a much expanded role in Shadowrun 6. Instead of having a lot of modifiers, you are trying to gain Edge and then figure out the right time to use Edge. And so that comes in all aspects of the game, from combat to hacking to social interactions to magic. Everything is about trying to get more points of Edge and use it at the right time.
Okay.
Interesting.
That's cool. Now, I noticed there's some other things. I've thumbed through the book. I was showing off this book. I'm going to show it off again really quick here. This is one of the limited edition books. It's not numbered book, but it is. I love the cover, and that is Jason's signature right there on the book. Very happy about that. And I've spent some time since Gen Con looking at the book. So I noticed initiative is different. There's no longer initiative passes like older versions of Shadowrun. I'll be honest, I was really into Shadowrun 3. Shadowrun 3 I played for years and years and years. I played a little bit of 4, a little bit of 5. I played every edition of the game since first. But initiative seems like it's a bit different. Is that correct?
Yeah. In some ways, it's just a further iteration of 5th edition's initiative system, where you had an initiative score and then a certain amount of dice that you rolled, added that to your score, and that determined initiative order. But in Shadowrun 5, each time you took an action, you take 10 points off of your initiative, and then certain characters would end up having a higher initiative, so they'd go more often because they'd still have a positive initiative score while other people had run out of points. In Shadowrun 6, you just keep that score, and that determines the order the whole time. You don't subtract from it for actions. And so that means that it's less frequent that the really speed-oriented characters get 3 or 4 actions to a slower character's 1. There's still ways for them to get bonus actions, especially when they get enough enhancements that they get enough minor actions that they can trade in for a major action to do an attack. So they still can get that extra attack, but the curve is flattened a little bit between slow characters and fast characters.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to throw a rules question your way because I've been reading the book. Okay.
Okay.
So in the initiative section, it says for every die you throw on your initiative, you get an extra minor action.
Right.
Okay. Now, for wired reflexes or synaptic accelerators, which are augmentations you can give a character in Shadowrun, it says you get a bonus die, and it also says you get a bonus action. Is that meant to be a cumulative thing, or is it just a reiteration of the initiative rule?
That's a reiteration, not an additional one on top of the one that goes with the die. That's just a reiteration.
I had to ask because I'm going to start running this soon, so I want to make sure I have my rules right.
Good to have it clear. That's fine.
We got the man on the phone with us right now, so we got to ask. And then Force is gone for spellcasters.
Yes. Yeah. One of the other big changes from 5th edition is that limits as a whole were taken away. they played a valuable role in 5th edition to try to balance different mechanics in there and to try to make people put points into attributes they might ignore. But since the system changed so much, we didn't need limits, and also felt that we didn't need force. Some of that, though, is also because of the way spells were designed. They're very much a modular system where each spell is a combination of ingredients that you combine to make the spell. And the ingredients aren't in the core book. That was something that was all done behind the scenes. But when we come up with a magic book later, it should come out next year, then you'll get a full list of the ingredients that go in to make a spell, and you'll be able to design your own spells using that system. And it didn't work well with declaring force. It worked much better with the way spells work with the way it's presented in 6th edition.
Okay. Cool. I typically play mages, so I'm really excited to see how the changes go. And I noticed, and maybe this is just a looking at the book and not playing the game. It looks like Drain is a more realistic threat in this edition than it has been in the last couple. Like, it looks like mages really have a chance of accumulating Drain in this edition. I guess I've played with guys who always made their characters where they almost never seem to take Drain from their characters. And so it looks like you play more of a balanced game with your spellcasting.
Yeah. And in fact, we actually lowered some of the Drain values in playtesting because people were getting just knocked out way too easy. So it's nicer than it was. But yeah, it is still a little firm. Some of that is because of the fact that force was taken out. So when you had force and you could declare force in Shadowrun in previous editions, you could always go with the low force to try to avoid much Drain. So since you can't go with the low force spell here, we wanted all the spells to have some decent effect. So that means they needed to be tilted a little bit higher end of Drain rather than where that low force spell would have been. Right.
That's fair.
Yeah, I like it. I mechanically, everything I've read so far in the rules, I like. I really like. I find that as I get older as a player, I tend to drift towards more narrative systems. Like Shadowrun Anarchy has a lot of appeal for me. And as I play a lot of role-playing games, it's really hard to learn the rules for every game. Yeah. But Shadowrun, I've been playing since '91. Okay, so I'm a longtime Shadowrun player. I love Shadowrun. I'm playing with guys I've been playing Shadowrun for 25 years right now. And so obviously we have a love of the game. I'm super excited to try 6 out now. We dabbled in 4th, we dabbled in 5th edition. Can you tell us, what are the big storyline advancements since 5th edition?
So we have a book, in fact, it's going to be sent to print any day now, called Cutting Black. And it's got lots of fun stuff in it. And I don't really want to spoil it too much because it's not out. What I can say is that it starts with Ares trying to make its final solution to the bug problem in Detroit. And the measures they take earn the ire of the UCAS government. And then the back and forth between those two powers will end up very much altering the shape of North America.
Awesome.
That is cool.
That sounds great.
That's awesome.
The last long-term Shadowrun campaign I ran started with Queen Euphoria and centered around bugs for a while. So I'm a big fan of the UB and insect spirits, and yeah. Yeah,
you'll get some of that, but this grows even beyond the bugs. So there's going to be all sorts of fun threats in this book. It's a book I enjoy a lot, and it was always fun to see the proofers. It's always good to see the reaction to the proofreaders when they come back, because they're like the first. They're giving you a first response, whereas the writers have been buried with it, and I've been buried with it forever. And so we kind of forget what it's like, and then the proofers put fresh eyes. And I think on this book, almost more than any other I've worked on, I got multiple proofers going, oh, if everything's as good as this chapter, I want to read this whole book. Oh, I love that chapter. And they're really psyched to play it.
Nice. And that's a source book coming out then.
Yes.
Okay. Now, there's a line of Shadowrun novels as well. For somebody new getting in, what would you recommend to get them started out of your guys' novel line?
So Fire and Frost was kind of designed to be a good way to enter the novel line. That came out probably 6-ish years ago, but it's really a good overall kind of globe-trotting story that gives you a good picture of the different roles that everyone does on a Shadowrunning team. But we also, in the build-up to 6th edition, came out with a series of novellas that are all tied together. So there's 5 novellas that each focus on one member of a Shadowrunning team, and then a 6th one that ties all the plots of the other 5 together. And so it gives you a progressive story, and there's a lot of fun stuff in there. So I'd start with one of those.
What was the second one called? Sorry.
All of them are together are called The Frame Job.
Okay.
The first, I should have mentioned that. Good catch. The first 5 are named after the characters. So it's you. I'm going to try to go in order, but I'll probably get it out of order. You, Zipfile, Rude, and 2 others. My mind's a blank. And then there's 6
characters in. Is that right? Are they the same characters?
They're the same ones that are in the beginner box. Yeah. Oh, Emu.
Fantastic. Okay.
Okay. So just so you know, Jason, we do a show on Mondays called RPG Out of the Box, where we run role-playing games directly out of the starter sets. And we're currently going through Paizo's Starfinder right now, but Shadowrun 6th World is next slated that we're going to run.
That's going to be next.
So I think they have 1 or 2 sessions left on Starfinder, and then we're really excited because these are people who have never played Shadowrun before. Yeah, we're really excited to get to introduce them to the world. It is my favorite game universe. So, so you mentioned the what was the book called again? Is it Cutting Black?
Cutting Black. Yes.
It's the source book. Now, in previous editions, the routine has kind of been a new core book drops. Then we get like a new Street Samurai catalog style book. We get a new Magic book. We get a new vehicle book, and we get a new Decker book. Is that kind of the game plan still for this edition?
Yes, the new combat book is already being written, so we'll be having that move to the printer in a month or 2. If it's 2 months, probably people will get mad at me. So we'll say a month and a half. Then a Magic book is slated after that, and then on direct orders of Catalyst's beloved president, we are doing a Rigger book as the next core book.
I wonder
that will be Gen Con 2020. We'll have a Rigger book.
Awesome.
Oh, that is great.
Yeah, that's really good.
More?
When does 6th edition drop in its book format? Because you guys dropped the PDF yesterday, is that right?
Yes, yesterday. The print book, it is looking like early October. From what I hear, the distributor will just ship it out to stores and to people who pre-ordered it as soon as they get it in without waiting for one of their auto ship dates. So hopefully it'll get out maybe a little bit before early October, but that's the general area we're looking at as it comes across the Pacific on a boat and then gets into port and then gets across the country to a distributor.
Got it.
Cool.
Okay.
So Jason, we got a few questions from kind of the audience. I don't know if you're following along, but there's a few. We're going to filter them, and so far they've been pretty good. So, but we're going to shoot those at you if you're up for that.
Sure.
From people who are watching.
Let's go to the beginning. Let's
start at the beginning. What is your go-to Shadowrun character build?
I am a fan. Since I like the noir angle of Shadowrun anyway, I've always been a fan of the occult investigator, kind of the private eye type who can also summon spirits to do their dirty work and that sort of thing. That's where I go first when I have a chance to build a character.
Nice.
Isn't that what you played in?
I did just an investigator last time, not magical.
The occult.
Not magical. Okay. Just a forensics investigator.
Other than the new edition, what is your favorite Shadowrun edition?
Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, and this is gonna sound tacky and biased, and I'm just gonna live with that. But I would say 5th, just because I really liked a lot of the things 4th did, and then 5th gave us a chance to kind of refine that, and so I think it took a lot of the strengths of 4th and built on it.
What is your favorite race in Shadowrun?
I probably end up playing more elves than anything else, but I've definitely developed a soft spot for orcs because I like seeing how flexible you can make them or what you can get away with an orc. Trolls are cool, but they're just so hard to fit in a van or whatever when you're moving around. They're tough.
I think my longest running Shadowrun character was a troll ganger who ended up becoming a full-on street samurai over the course of like a 2 or 3 year campaign. And for those Shadowrun players who get the joke, his name was Uge, U-G-E. Unexplained genetic expression, which is what turned people into trolls and orcs, and what they called it. And so he was a really smart troll. He actually had a 4 intelligence. This is 3rd edition days, and so that was as high as an intelligence a troll could start with. So he was
nice.
What is the longest campaign you've done in Shadowrun?
So I had a good role-playing group that managed to stay together for years at a time, and we shifted games in that period of time. But I did a nice long Shadowrun phase in that was probably about a year.
Okay. Cool. What is your favorite Shadowrun moment?
Ooh.
I've always, plot-wise, loved Renraku Arcology. I love the spookiness of that adventure, and just the atmosphere was so cool. But at the table, my favorite moment playing was with the same group I just mentioned. So they were outside of a junkyard, and one of the players wanted to roll a grenade through an opening they had found to blow up some things in there to get the attention of the people inside the junkyard, except he didn't have any skill at all in throwing weapons. So he just had to do it unskilled. He totally glitched, so the grenade bumped off the wall of the junkyard and came right back toward him. So he decided he needed to dive into the junkyard to get out of the way of the grenade. At the same time, one of his quick-thinking teammates picked up the grenade and rolled it through the opening. So as he's diving through the opening, he's looking down and seeing the grenade go right with him in. It was awesome.
That's great.
Why is it that all Shadowrun favorite stories are always around misfortune like that? Because everyone, I have players who talk about like needing, once again, I know 3rd edition, but needing to hit a 6 target number on a test and rolling 13 dice and failing. And then spending a point of karma and re-rolling it and still failing. It's like rolled 26 dice and could not hit a 6.
In 5th edition, when we were playtesting it, I built a sniper character specifically to be good at sniping, and I glitched my first perception roll to find a target, and we were in the Orc Underground, and so I ended up shooting a support pillar that brought the roof of the cave down on all my team's heads. So I was very popular.
Nice.
Okay, it's just not our group who does that then. I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay, so this question I don't get, but maybe it's something that I don't.
So yeah, one of our viewers, Sage Saga, asked, he hasn't seen the new book yet, but can mages still be Christmas trees? Meaning, can they use tons of foci?
Oh, okay, gotcha. I got it now.
Not as much as in previous editions. There's some more limits on how many foci you can use to add to a single dice pool. So
okay,
it's not quite as lit up. I mean, you can still do cool things with them, but there's a few more limits than there were before.
Are enemy mages able to channel spells from astral space into foci still, or is that gone?
Not in the core rules.
That's a good answer.
Always more rules to come, but I only have 300 pages. Can't do tricky stuff like that.
Nice.
Yeah, it was what, like a 200-page difference from 5th edition to 6th edition, right?
About 150, yeah, maybe a little more than 150, yeah.
Yeah, it's a big difference in pages. I think that's all of our chat questions right now.
That's all we got now. So that's
yeah, Jason, it's always a pleasure to be able to talk to you. I love talking Shadowrun. I mean, if we just started sitting here hashing out Shadowrun stories, we would be here until the sun rose tomorrow.
But let's do one more plug for you.
Yes.
What would you say about Shadowrun 6th edition to get an old player back in, a new player to get excited, those kind of things? What would be your plug for 6th edition?
That you're going to get into the game quicker and get to the parts of the game you really like faster. And so rather than getting bogged down in other parts, you're just going to get to the cool things. I had one player who's played a lot of editions, talked about getting 2 combats resolved in half an hour. And we were so excited by that timing that that quote has now stuck in my head. And so trying to get to the cool things quicker is what we want to happen, and that hopefully will happen when you play.
Cool.
Awesome.
Sage Saga had a question, but I think it's answered.
We already answered
the
that,
PDF is already out. The book will hopefully be out in early to mid-October, it sounds like.
Yep, that's what we're looking at.
We don't have an official date, just kind of a middle range.
Yeah, we don't like to have any official dates until the book is actually in the warehouse, because we've had so many weird things go wrong with products in transit that we're very cautious.
Oh, that totally makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
And I like that too, because then I'm not mad when it doesn't really tell a date, because I get upset.
I don't care. I got my book.
I know you already know.
Our favorite story is one time when there was a truck going toward the warehouse and it broke down, and so the driver just walked away from the truck and left it sitting there for a couple of days.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was a great delay. We were very excited by that one.
All right, last fan question. What is your favorite gun in the Shadowrun system?
Sorry, I didn't hear that. My favorite what?
Favorite gun.
Favorite firearm?
Part of me wants to go for just the big Panther, but I like a pistol, and I like a big pistol, so I'm going to go with the Ruger Super Warhawk, just so.
Yes, nice.
It's one of my favorite series of Private Eye books, just in case your target turns out to be an elephant, then you can take it down.
That's fantastic. We just had one of our followers say while you were answering that question, I understand that question, Ash, but that's a silly question. There is only the Super Warhawk.
There we go. I know where it is. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Jason, I want to thank you
Yes.
from the Chaotic Night, ourselves and our fans and everybody who's a fan of Shadowrun for coming on and spending the time. Hopefully you felt it was valuable. We totally enjoyed it, and we just really appreciate you taking the time. I know you're a very, very busy guy, so.
I'm happy to come on. Thanks for inviting me, and just thanks for, loving Shadowrun and playing it. It's all you guys are what keep it going, so I appreciate it a lot.
We love it, and check it out on Monday in a couple weeks. It'll be great. Hopefully we'll talk again. That'll be fantastic.
All right. Sounds good.
Thanks, Jason.
Thanks, Jason.
Thanks,
Well, good night.
We should be switching back over here.
That was awesome.
Yes.
Even
yes.
A little bit of a drop on the treat of the new book. No spoilers, but I'm excited for that book.
Yes.
And I don't even get into those books as much, I think, as some people. So that was awesome. So again, if Jason's still watching, thanks to Jason. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. We have more of those coming with more interviews and more celebrity personalities. I think that's what we met. A lot of them at Gen Con. And we're getting those set up and lined up, so kind of tune in for those. Just on a news segment, let's go ahead and close with that. I know we did the interview first, so let's go ahead and close with the news segments of what's coming out this week. I know.
Shadowrun.
Chaos is lost now, so we might as well just count him out.
We got
Jason Hardy.
Games Workshop. We got Kill Team coming out this week. The new starter set for that.
Yep.
2-player starter with new scenery, the rule book, the whole
What's it
shebang.
got in it? It's got
Reavers versus Tau.
Tau, that's right.
So Space Marines, the Primaris Reavers, not from Firefly Reavers, and old reference there. And then we have the new expansion for Blackstone Fortress dropping this week as well.
That's right.
Going to bring a big expansion to the game.
Hey, it looks good. New characters coming in that too.
Yep.
That you can play, heroes to play. So actually, I'm semi-excited about that one. Aeronautica.
Aeronautica's next week. We'll see. I haven't seen the gameplay yet or anything, so I'm not really sure.
We saw some of it at Gen Con.
Yeah.
The models look cool.
The models look really good. There's this other stuff I'm really excited about right now.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
So.
Is there anything else out? We can talk about Shadowrun just a second.
Right Quest dropped.
Yeah, Right Quest is in.
So that's
just
available.
one of the characters outside of the box
just James
set,
right now.
James.
That's a really fun game. We really enjoyed playing that.
We'll see some more of that on the weekly shows. Throne of Eldraine has for Magic has said that they will be releasing some of the card spoilers in the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
So stay tuned for that. We'll try to bring you those. The art, I'm excited. The Arthurian medieval fairy tale theme I'm pretty excited about, so that should be pretty cool. We also got a little nugget on a Games Workshop drop that we may see tomorrow.
Yeah,
a reveal.
A new Mortark is being revealed tomorrow.
That's
and
exciting.
The new Psychic supplement they're talking about for 40K is going to be revealed tomorrow as
They're
well.
at Nova right now,
yep. So that's going to be some big stuff as well. I mean, I'm excited. I'm painting 40K stuff left and right now. I'm working on Warcry models. So, and speaking of painting models, next week we're going to start on Tuesday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon Mountain Time. We'll be starting our new painting show called Primed and Ready. So
that's next week.
That is next week
already.
Day after Labor Day. And that'll be twice a week too. That'll be on Tuesdays and Thursdays both. Yeah. And then we're going to talk about the rest of our lineup.
Yep.
So later tonight at 7:30 we have Lock and Load. We're going to be playing a 0 Point War Machine game today. If you've never seen a 0 Point game, tune in. It's a lot of fun. It's just basically starter box games, although I believe my opponent's using alternate casters because his faction doesn't come with the starter box. Well,
his
specific,
comes
the specific
not the
within
one
the faction.
Play,
he's playing Mercenary Pirates.
Yeah.
And so we'll be playing a 0 Point game. It's kind of a beginner level game. And we're kind of doing this because we're prepping to go into a Journeyman League here soon. So we got that at 7:30. Tomorrow at 7 we have the Realms.
We have the Realms going. Kind of the crew pulled Cal out of a grave last time, and I think we ended where he was getting shackled by your buddy Creighton.
And that is a Pathfinder 2nd edition game.
Yeah.
We're just going into the second episode tomorrow, so you have plenty of time to catch up with the first one before that happens.
Yeah.
And then Thursday we of course have My Game Immersion RPG, running Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Giant reveal last week. I don't want to spoil it. If you missed it, go back and check out the last episode. We'll see what happens, what changes happen with the characters.
Lorik has to shift some major gears. He's going to have to get on some antidepressant drugs. There is no Lorik anymore, that's true. But I'm just saying.
And then Saturday we're going format back on Legacies of War to 1 o'clock, one game a week. Is what we're shooting for. We just had some major computer issues and revampings and things, and just trying to figure out how we're going to make this all work better. We want to bring the highest quality shows, and so we figured one game a week we could really focus on is better than trying to just get as many battle reports as possible. So we will be doing a 40K battle this week. Yeah. And then
start at 1. It may run long. We may do 2 on some weeks. You never know.
And if we're doing small games, we're doing skirmish games like Necromunda or Warcry or things like that, then of course we'll have more games going.
Sure.
But 40K battle this week, and I think we're shooting for a 2,000 point game.
Okay.
So a bigger game than we've been doing. And then Sunday we do Dungeon Delvers.
7:30.
At 7:30.
And on the docket, we talked to a development group, I guess. Is that what we call that group? We are looking at putting the boardroom in as a how-to-play, review while we play type of show. And that will probably come to you on Sunday afternoons. And so
not this Sunday, though. The holiday weekend.
Yeah, it's a few weeks out on that, but we actually had some concrete conversation last night, and that show is going to get slated now. So it was going to be kind of a back-and-forth talk show, but the development group and the creative team and whoever we want to include in that conversation decided that playing the games actually live on camera and then talking about them and having those conversations while we're playing the game would be a good format. So that's what we're going to shoot for, and we'll probably be 3 weeks, I'm guessing, maybe 4 weeks out on that show, and then we'll have another new show. So new show every month is what we're shooting for right now. So
we get a full docket.
Yeah.
And then Dungeon Delvers at night, and then at 7:30, and then of course Monday nights at 7:30 we also do RPG Out of the Box, currently featuring Starfinder, soon to be Shadowrun.
Yeah, Shadowrun, out of the box Shadowrun. That out of the box set was really cool.
The starter set, which I happen to have.
Yeah, you actually have that there.
The box here as well. The starter set is really cool and shiny in our light. And
the rulebook's not in that though, is it?
It has a quick start rulebook in it, and it has all the character profiles, a really cool map that's not in here because I'm currently using it in my game. And it is a great start. If you've never played Shadowrun before, this is the edition to start. Try the 6-World Beginner box. Check it out. Gives you everything you need to play the game. Yep. Pre-made characters, a ready-to-go adventure, all the rules you need, dice, a great map of Seattle, everything. And show some love to the guys at Catalyst who make it. Like go on their Twitter, go on their Facebook page. Yep. Just give them thumbs up. I mean, give them a like and a follow. Jason is an awesome guy, but everybody I've talked to at the company has been really cool always. So I love dealing with the Catalyst people. So
check them out and do so at your local game store. We got to put plugs in for those guys. The local game store is what keeps the industry thriving.
Yes.
And so get out there and support those local game stores in your area. So we would really appreciate that, and hopefully we get that segment up and going too, where we walk through local game stores around the country and you can kind of see what they're doing. To bring the games to you, because there is a lot of games that are out there, and I think we saw that at Gen Con. Whereas, like, I think someone was saying 5 years ago there was, 10, 15 new games, and now there's like 5,000 every year over the course of the year.
Game industry's booming.
It is a booming industry. Get out there, support your local game store from KNN, and let them know that you're there to support them and do what you need to do to keep them in business and help them out. So, anything else for the week?
I think that's it for news for the week.
He's just totally excited. I'm sure there's other news we're missing, but he just had an interview with Jason Hardy. So, again, big shout out to Jason Hardy for coming onto the show tonight.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that.
Shadowrun fan for life.
Next week, KNN's back on Tuesday at 6 Mountain Time. And we will appreciate if you would give us a like, a follow, a subscription on Twitch, a subscription on YouTube. All of those things help us grow and get better. I think we're like around 220 on Twitch, and once we get to 250, I think we're doing a big giveaway.
Yep.
So stay tuned for that, and follow and do that. And if you need any of the other information, check out chaoticnight.com. That's our website. You can find all the social media links there as well. So thanks for tuning in this evening. Again, a big shout out to Jason Hardy. Thanks for coming on. And for all those who participated tonight, we appreciate it, and we will see you next week.